In New York City, the badge is more than a job. For the Bennett family, it's a legacy. Under the Manhattan Bridge, Detective Marcus Bennett finds a body. But something about this murder feels planned. Across Queens, Sergeant Isaiah Bennett leads a tactical raid because someone is moving weapons through the city. Inside a Manhattan courtroom, Assistant District Attorney Naomi Bennett fights crime another way, with the law. On the streets of Brooklyn, rookie officer Caleb Bennett patrols the night, still learning what the badge really means. High above the city, Commissioner Elijah Bennett watches it all unfold, because every case in the city eventually reaches his desk. But no matter what happens out there, every Sunday night, the Bennetts come home. Across the river, another man watches the city too, Victor Kane. Back at the precinct, Marcus begins connecting the pieces. The murder wasn't random, because every clue leads to one name, Victor Kane. And the Bennetts have just stepped into his world. Morning in New York, but Detective Marcus Bennett is still chasing the same question. Why was a courier murdered under the Manhattan Bridge? Because in this city, a murder like that is never random. The victim wasn't random. He was a courier, someone trusted to move something valuable through the city. And someone made sure he never finished the job. Across Queens, Sergeant Isaiah Bennett leads a tactical raid because someone is flooding New York with weapons. And tonight, the police are finally catching up. Back at headquarters, Commissioner Elijah Bennett studies the reports. A murdered courier, a warehouse full of weapons, and a feeling he knows too well. These cases aren't separate, they're connected. Downtown, ADA Naomi Bennett questions a suspect. But the man across the table isn't nervous, which means one thing. Someone powerful is protecting him. Out on patrol, Officer Caleb Bennett scans the quiet streets. But in New York, quiet usually means trouble is coming. Back at the precinct, Marcus follows the courier's phone records. And one name keeps appearing, a man known in the underworld as the Broker. His name is Dante Reyes. In the underworld, he's known as the Broker, the man who connects criminals, weapons, and money across the entire city. But Marcus realizes something. Dante Reyes isn't the king. He's just the middleman, which means someone else is running the entire operation. And somewhere above the city, the real king is watching. Victor Kane, the man behind the entire empire, and the Bennetts are getting closer. Morning in New York, but Detective Marcus Bennett knows the case is getting bigger, because the moment Dante Reyes appeared, the entire investigation changed. Marcus studies the case again. Every phone call, every transaction, every lead is pointing straight to Dante Reyes. Across the city, Sergeant Isaiah Bennett watches a convoy of trucks roll into a shipping yard. The intel says they're empty. Isaiah doesn't believe that for a second. Inside the courthouse, Naomi Bennett reviews the case again, because the suspect she's prosecuting should have been in prison years ago. The charges disappeared, the evidence vanished, and every time the same judge signed the order. Back in Queens, Isaiah gives the signal. The raid begins, and suddenly, the quiet night turns into chaos. Dante Reyes walks past Naomi in the courtroom, free, untouchable. And just before he leaves, he whispers something she'll never forget. That night, Naomi brings the ruling to her father. Commissioner Elijah Bennett reads the file and immediately understands what it means. This isn't just a weapons case anymore, or a corrupt judge. It's something bigger, something organized. Because if the judge is protecting Dante Reyes, then someone even more powerful is protecting the judge. The manhunt begins before sunrise. Captain Terrence Blake is running, and the Bennetts know one thing. If they don't find him first, someone else will. Blake vanished hours ago. No phone, no credit cards, no trail. Which means someone warned him. Across the waterfront, Isaiah Bennett locks down the harbor. If Blake tries to escape the city, this is where he'll be stopped. At headquarters, the command room lights up. The entire department is now hunting one of their own. Blake runs to the back streets of Brooklyn, a cop who knows exactly how the police hunt fugitives, which makes him dangerously hard to catch. But Blake doesn't realize someone else is hunting him too. Victor Kane already sent the solution, the ghost. They call her the ghost. No witnesses, no evidence, just bodies. Blake never hears the footsteps behind him. By the time he turns, the ghost is already there. Minutes later, Marcus finds Blake in the alley. Too late. The only man who knew the truth is already dead. High above the city, Victor Kane watches the chaos unfold. The witness is gone, and the game is still his to control. The investigation is getting bigger. Every lead Marcus follows keeps circling back to the same name, Dante Reyes. But Marcus knows now. Reyes isn't the one in control. Marcus follows the money, the phone calls, the shipments, and every trail leads back to the same network. Across the city, Sergeant Isaiah Bennett prepares his team because another weapon shipment is about to move through New York. At headquarters, Commissioner Elijah Bennett studies the reports, the weapons, the money, the corruption, and the picture is finally becoming clear. Across the table, the suspect finally talks, and the name he gives Marcus changes everything. At the same time, Isaiah's team moves in. Sirens explode across the highway, and the convoy has nowhere left to run. Inside the trucks, Isaiah's team finds something unexpected. Weapons, but also something worse. Police documents. The weapons were bad enough, but the documents are worse. Someone inside the department is feeding information to the enemy. Marcus stares at the evidence. Weapons, money, leaked police intel, and suddenly the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Marcus brings the evidence to the commissioner and finally says the words out loud. Someone inside the NYPD is working for Victor Kane. Far above the city, Victor Kane watches the news of the raid and smiles because the Bennetts just uncovered the truth. But Kane already planned for it. Morning in Brooklyn, the crime scene tape still moves in the wind. And Marcus Bennett knows one thing. The ghost just changed the entire case. The bullet was clean, professional. Marcus has seen work like this before. This wasn't a street head. It was an assassin. Across the harbor, Isaiah's raid uncovers something unexpected. Not just weapons, plans. The plans all point to one location, police headquarters. Someone is preparing to strike the NYPD itself. Back downtown, Naomi follows the money, and the trail leads to one person, Lydia Shaw. Lydia Shaw looks like a businesswoman, successful, untouchable. But behind the money, she's financing Victor Kane's empire. But while the Bennetts follow the money, the ghost watches them, studying, waiting, choosing her next target. Back at the precinct, Marcus reads the final report. One bullet, military grade. Now he knows the killer's name, the ghost. Across the river, Victor Kane watches the investigation unfold. The Bennetts are getting closer, but Kane has already planned the next move. Because Victor Kane isn't just building a criminal network, he's building a war, and the Bennetts are right in the middle of it. From above, New York looks peaceful, but Marcus Bennett knows the truth. An assassin is hunting his family. Across the city, Naomi Bennett prepares the biggest indictment of her career because the money trail finally leads to Lydia Shaw. Across Manhattan, Lydia Shaw watches the markets open. To the world, she's a businesswoman, but behind the numbers, she's Kane's banker. Across Queens, as AST moves in, the convoy is finally trapped, and this time, no one is getting away. Meanwhile, Officer Caleb Bennett answers a routine call. Just another quiet building, or so it seems. High above the street, the ghost watches through her scope. Her target is clear, a Bennett. Suddenly, Caleb feels it, the kind of instinct every cop learns to trust, and just as he turns, the shot is fired. The bullet tears through the windshield, glass explodes across the street, and suddenly, the entire block erupts in sirens. Sirens flood the street, police units race toward the scene, and Marcus Bennett realizes the war just came to his doorstep. That night, the Bennett family sits in silence, because Victor Kane just crossed a line. This isn't business anymore. It's war. New York wakes up, but the city doesn't know how close it came to chaos. Marcus Bennett does, because now he's hunting Victor Kane. Back at the precinct, Marcus builds the board. Every murder, every shipment, every dollar, all leading to one man. Inside headquarters, Commissioner Elijah Bennett calls the meeting. Detectives, federal agents, tactical commanders, because tonight they're going after Victor Kane. Across Manhattan, Lydia Shaw tries to leave the city, but this time the police are already waiting. Back at the precinct, Marcus sits across from Lydia Shaw. For the first time, Victor Kane's empire is starting to crack. Lydia finally speaks, not out of loyalty, out of fear. And the name she gives Marcus leads straight to Victor Kane. Across the river, Victor Kane doesn't run. He waits, because men like him believe they're untouchable. Marcus studies the address Lydia gave him. A waterfront warehouse, the last place Victor Kane feels safe. And tonight, that changes. Across the harbor, the task force moves in. Lights off, weapons ready. Tonight, Victor Kane's empire falls. The doors explode open, guns raised, and for the first time, Marcus Bennett stands face to face with Victor Kane. Inside the warehouse, everything stops. Marcus Bennett raises his weapon, and for the first time, Victor Kane is surrounded. For a moment, no one moves. Marcus keeps the gun steady, because this is the moment that ends Victor Kane's empire. Victor Kane smiles, not afraid, not surprised, because men like him believe they never really lose. Kane laughs softly, because even now, he thinks he's still winning. But Marcus Bennett knows something Kane doesn't. Tonight, the game is over. Marcus steps closer. The gun never wavers. And finally, he says the words Victor Kane never thought he'd hear. You're under arrest. The cuffs click shut. Victor Kane finally looks around. And for the first time, he realizes the empire is gone. They lead Victor Kane out in cuffs, past the lights, past the cameras, and for the first time in years, New York breathes. By morning, the news is everywhere. Victor Kane, arrested, and the empire he built in the shadows is finally dawn. That night, the Bennett family sits together again, same table, same city, but everything finally feels different. New York sleeps again, but Marcus Bennett knows something most people don't. In this city, crime never disappears. It only waits. And when it returns, the Bennetts will be ready.